Where did they acquire that skills? Who taught Mark Zuckerberg or probably Steve Jobs the leadership skills? Who taught Bill Gates to build an enterprise just working on a software program basis? The EDP is a program which helps in developing the entrepreneurial abilities. The ultimate aim of an entrepreneurship development is to make you self-reliant, sustainable in nature, and that is a very, very big exercise. Good morning and welcome to the first session of Unit 2, and this is going to be on the EDP program under Entrepreneurship Development subject. This is a very, very interesting topic. Why? Because in this session, we are going to talk about the effectiveness, the objectives, the meaning of why you need to go through an EDP program. That's the Entrepreneurship Development altogether. So quickly moving forward, let's try to understand the meaning here for an entrepreneurship development program. If you look here, the EDP is a program which helps in developing the entrepreneurial abilities. Now, most of them say in this world that entrepreneurship is something that is very natural. That's something which is inbuilt in you and it cannot be taught. Why? Because the risk-taking ability, the ability to foresee the future, the ability to make money, the ability to lead and take things forward comes to you by an intuition, by a gut, by that factor that yes, you are able to do it. But is there a training center where I can learn all this? Because I'm not a born leader, I'm not a person who's a born visionary, but I do want to become one. So where do I go and take up this training? Where do I see that people can train me as an entrepreneur in future? So that's where the role of entrepreneurship development program comes into picture. People come and tell me this, that entrepreneurship development program is very theoretical, sir. What is it all about? But then let me tell you, entrepreneurship development program is not like any other subject, or it is not like any other paper where you just read and you walk away. It is the most practical subject. It is the most practical thing that you can ever get into in terms of experience. Why? Because it is going to relate in terms of the day-to-day activity and how you are going to function, how you're going to take your business to the next level. So that's why what we do here is that the skills that are required to run a business successfully is developed among the people through this program. So what we believe here is that everybody in this world has got an idea, has got an innovation, has got a thought process in their mind. They're not just going to take it up so easily. They're not just going to leave things there easily. They believe that there is a functionality, there is a meaning, there is a identity altogether. But what is very, very essential, what is very, very important here that you need to understand, that you need to go through, that you need to foresee is that you need a right set of skills to make yourself a sharper entrepreneur. A person who's able to really adjust himself, adapt himself to the need of the business environment. And that's why I always say that this is the most interesting program. This is the most happening program that is going to shape your future. So the EDP is going to be a program which mixes the right skills with the right talent for the right kind of people to achieve success in business. So EDP is a very, very powerful and effective program. Going forward, it is not just a training program, but a complete process to make the transformation enablement. Now, when you attend any of the EDP program, the ideology here is not to just make you undergo a training for 7 days or 10 days or 3 days. It is all about a transformation. So when you come out of the program, you're equipped, you're ready to go forward and take up a business and run it. Now, for example, when you go for a fitness program training or when you go for a CrossFit training altogether, It would not be effective if I would have just taken you through the tour of the entire gym or the workout area and just explained you theoretically about the various equipments and tools that have been kept there. Unless and until the trainer makes you to go through the fitness program, makes you to really work out the entire the fitness activity altogether, the effectiveness of the program cannot be felt by you. Similarly, in terms of entrepreneurship development, what is the objective of this training program is not just to make you equipped with the theory part, with the theory understanding or the subjectual understanding altogether. It is more about getting you ready to run a business. So that's where EDP becomes even more effective, even more challenging. Followed by, this program also guides the individuals on how to start a business. If I have an idea, well and good. If I don't have an idea, this is the place where you will also try to understand, sir, how to get into a visionary thinking and how to start a program. There are many people in this world who have fantastic ideas, who have fantastic innovations. They want to start a business. They want to come out of their shell and tell to this world that yes, we are born entrepreneurs. We are born to change the world. But unfortunately, the most important thing here is that how do I start that idea? How do I make that idea into an interesting thought process altogether? How do I put that idea into action? What makes me think that I am the most effective leader who will be able to run the business transformation tomorrow? Well, these questions are quite interesting, and the answer to these questions is available when you attend through the EDP training program. So that is why I always tell that this is not just a classroom-based program. This is a program that is going to make you understand how to run a system, how to run a business, and become an effective leader. Followed by the objectives of EDP program. Now let me tell you, the objectives here is quite simple in nature. My objective as the program is to choose the entrepreneurship as a career, go forward, explore the market opportunities for your own business and run it successfully. We both have a short-term and a long-term objective, but let me first start with this program here, with this thought process that why should I choose entrepreneurship as a career? Now, entrepreneurship is a good idea to talk. It's a good idea to, relate to somebody or to consult somebody. But should I become an entrepreneur? Should I be the person who's going to run the business? Should I get into action? That's the question that most of the people ask. And that is why we go back. Because we are good in theory. We know what is entrepreneurship. We also know what are the components of entrepreneurship. We might have probably studied about it. We might have heard about hundreds of case studies. We might have seen it across every newspaper, every channel, every media, every social aspects as far as possible. But when it comes to you to become an entrepreneur, are you ready to make this as a career? Are you ready to step in, take up the shoes of the leader and become that particular captain of the industry? Are you ready to take the risk? Are you ready to focus and build up an industrial empire for yourself? If that is not the answer, then EDP is not the right program for you. Why? Because the objective of EDP program is to make your career your passion. It is not just about choosing a job. It is about choosing your passion, converting that passion into action, and finding out how you can become a successful business leader. So that is where I would say that the objective of EDP is completely different from any other training program. Why? Because we want the candidate, we want the entrepreneur to go forward, explore the market, find out where the opportunity exactly lies in the market. Is it in India? Is it in Singapore? Is it in Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, Manila? Or you're talking about Malaysia, or you're talking about any other country in the world. But yes, there are opportunities hidden in this market. There are millions and millions of opportunities that are available in this country. But the only challenge that comes into picture is that every entrepreneur who wants to get into entrepreneurship fears about this factor, whether I'm selecting the right track. So the first objective of the EDP program is to see that I remove the fear. I make entrepreneurship as a career of choice. And then I take you forward, explore every single opportunity that's available in the market. Let's evaluate, let's understand, let's assess and take forward in terms of starting up a new business so that in the long term, I am able to run a successful industrial empire. But then the objectives of the EDP program, as I have told you before, is of twofold. I have a short-term objective and I also have a long-term objective altogether. Now, going forward, when I talk about the short-term objective, these objectives are achieved immediately. It means that the individuals are trained to be an entrepreneur, made competent enough to scan through the existing market and environment, and this would be for the person in future who wants to become the first set of goal that has been achieved. The information related to the existing rules and regulations is very, very essential in this stage. Now, as a short-term objective, what I can simply think about is that, sir, I want to start a business immediately. It's a very small business. I just need that amount of information and training that can make me to start a business as early as possible. I'm not waiting for any big strategic plan or a very big visionary thinking altogether. In the short term, what I typically do is that I train the entrepreneur, make him competent enough that he is able to understand the realistic picture of the environment today. I don't want him to think 10 or 20 or 30 years from now. All I want him to understand the present context. So if the present context is understandable, if he knows what is his potential, how to realize his potential, how to take it forward, how to address the queries of his business, how to face the current challenges that are standing before him, and automatically he is ready to take up the entrepreneurship. That's where we are starting to think in terms of becoming an entrepreneur at the immediate level. So in a short term, what I'm seeing here is that whether I will become a futuristic leader, whether I will become a market icon, whether I would be the leader in terms of the markets, I do not know. Because my objective is to train you immediately, put you into practice and see whether you are able to sustain, whether you are able to grow in the coming years. So my objective, my understanding, my ideology is very, very clear. I do not want to go back. I do not want to just hold myself in terms of the thought process. So this is highly important for all of us to think, to understand and to grow. Followed by the long-term objective. Now, once I have created entrepreneurs, I have made myself on the understanding note that yes, I have selected this career. Now I have started up with my business. I'm not going to rest back. I'm going to think further. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to visualize myself as a future leader. So what do I need to do? That time I will have a long-term objective. So what is my long-term objective? The ultimate objective is that the trained individuals successfully establish their own business and they should be equipped with all required skills to run the business smoothly. Now, there are many cases which I want to discuss at this particular instant. When you talk about a Facebook, or when you talk about an Infosys, or when you talk about a Google or an Apple, or probably when you talk about an Amul, or you talk about ITCs or any of those kind of companies across the globe, all of them started with an idea. They grew up to become their own leaders in their space. But what was very interesting in them is that where did they acquire that skills? Who taught Mark Zuckerberg or probably Steve Jobs the leadership skills? Who taught Bill Gates to build an enterprise just working on a software program basis? Who taught a particular person that he could just start a company out of a search engine and later that becomes the market dominator called as Google? Now, all these questions keep coming back into the mind of people. Why? Because the question here is that all of these people whom I'm trying to mention here are those who are virtually dropped out of the college. They didn't undergo any formal training. They didn't undergo any EDP program. They have not undergone any kind of certifications to become something big. All they have undergone is the risk factor. All they have undergone is the visionary thinking, and they have been quite revolutionary enough in coming forward and doing the things. Now, if that being the criteria, so why is the EDP program now coming into picture? What is EDP is going to teach us something new than what these leaders have already achieved? Now, the answer to that question is that the long-term objective, what we typically make you understand is that keep on equipping you, get yourself equipped with all kinds of right skill that is being taken as a practice from this leader. Now, the best thing is that some 20 or 30 years back, people were not really bothered about entrepreneurship in India. We were not much accustomed to it. We were still in a zone where people were happy about getting those government jobs or private jobs, happy about getting a monthly salary. But slowly, after the 2005, you suddenly see that there is a whole lot of change in the employment area. People don't want to work under somebody, but people want to run their own business. They have now started seeing entrepreneurship as a way of growth, as a way of life. So if that be the query, if that be the need of the hour, that means you have to start getting yourself equipped stage by stage, because you know that the leaders who have already established themselves have also gone through various stages, understood the levels of business, and then developed themselves into the market icons. But for us today, it is not that easy that we can become a leader overnight. We need to have the skills, we need to have the plan, we need to have the idea, the implementation, so many factors that comes into picture. So that is why the long-term objective of an EDP program remains in making you constantly updated as per the need, as per the requirement. So the ultimate objective is to take an entrepreneur, make him establish his enterprise, and continue to run the business smoothly as far as possible. Followed by the overall objective is to help him in rapid industrialization by supplying him skilled entrepreneurs, and then industrialize the process and develop the area altogether. Most of the time, the question again circles back to the same factor called as what are the main factors of production: the land, labor, capital, and organization. So it goes back to the fundamentals of economics, asking you this question: what are the four factors? Now, for that four factors to establish the land, labor, capital, and organization, EDP is one of the easiest and the smartest way. Why? Because in entrepreneurship development program, we are focusing only on these four key factors. How do you acquire your people? How do you acquire your capital? How do you build your organization? How do you acquire your manufacturing base? So all the answers to these questions are going to be given by the experts, are going to be told to you, are going to be taken as a practical session so that you are able to handle the business smoothly and take it forward. Now, the performance of small and medium scale industries are expected to improve and therefore provide a huge scope for employment generation. Now, what happens is that every business in this world starts with a small idea, with a small notion altogether. None of the businesses are born big or born as an industrial empire. They are just a fraction of mind, an extension of mind, which I would say, which turns out to become an industrial empire. But then, to make that small business bigger and run effectively, you need to follow it up at each and every stage. So that's why what we tend to do here is that at the small and the medium enterprise level itself, we try to train the people. We try to take the entrepreneur into confidence, make him undergo through all the various factors that are needed for entrepreneurship development, make him understand what are the key factors that are playing, what are the different ideologies, different methodologies that are coming in, undergo those particular factors, make him learn, make him get him acknowledged to all the new ideologies and new happenings that are going on through the society, and finally make him stronger to level up to the next level in business. Followed by, the program also aims in providing self-employment to the young generation. Now, this is a very, very interesting factor that we are talking about. Many of us still dream about that we want to be our own boss. We never want to work under somebody. We never want to be questioned by somebody, commanded by somebody, or led by somebody. We want to be leaders. We want to have our business in our own visionary thought process. So that's where this becomes a very, very interesting ideology here. What we try to understand, or what we try to flow with, is that we tell people very clearly that we are interested in terms of generating self-employment, in terms of making the employment more interesting, where you can lead, where you can create your own base, your own security, your own ideology and identity, so that you don't have to rely on the market, you don't have to rely on other companies to provide you job. The ultimate aim of an entrepreneurship development is to make you self-reliant, sustainable in nature. And that is a very, very big exercise. If you are able to get that successful transformation in your mind, automatically you will be able to lead forward. Now, moving forward, when we talk about the basic features of the entrepreneurship program, the first thing is the identification and careful selection of entrepreneurs. Now, that's very, very important. That's highly needed in terms of thinking. Everybody is interested, but are everybody serious enough to become a part of this program? Is everybody really trying to become an entrepreneur, or just trying to attend a program to just get some knowledge? So what we do in an entrepreneurship development program is first identify all those people who are interested in terms of taking up the entrepreneurship program, in terms of understanding the basics that are needed, in terms of making the ideology of becoming a leader, ideology of becoming a future entrepreneur altogether, take it forward carefully, and then train him accordingly. Followed by developing the entrepreneurial capabilities of the trainer. What is the entrepreneurial capability that you need? What are the skill sets that you need so that you become a leader by yourself? You become a factor where you are able to run the business by yourself. You are able to handle risk. You are able to handle all the challenges and move forward. Followed by, we equip the training with basic managerial understanding and strategies. This is a very big challenge in our country. Let me tell you why. Most of the entrepreneurs might be great in terms of ideas, might be great in terms of the operational, but then they lack in terms of communication, both verbal and writing skills. They might lack in terms of understanding the situation, putting forth their idea, marketing, or taking it in the managerial level altogether. To give you a very simple example, when you look into the rural India, all the small scale industries are definitely good. They are highly capable of coming up in a big way altogether. But what they lack is presenting their idea, putting forth their marketing concept altogether. Many people do not have that managerial communication skills, which will be actually able to put them on a different league. So what EDP program does is equip you with that skills that are needed to market your ideology, market your business, make your managerial communication more effective, so that you are able to come forward and you are able to deal in the market better. So you are able to present yourself better and you are able to run it. Finally, we also make you a viable industrial project. Many a times this question is very, very important. Why? Because people ask this at least 100 times. Is my business really successful enough? Is my business really reachable in nature? Now, to answer that question, let me tell you very, very clearly what is that reachability factor, or what is the accessibility factor, is very, very important for us. Why? Because when I talk about the reachability, accessibility, or about any of those factors, I am trying to make you understand that your business needs to be practical in nature. If it is not practical in nature, if it is not understandable in nature, if it is not something that can sustain for a long run altogether, then we are not going to talk about entrepreneurship anymore. So it is very important for each one of us that we make the business interesting, accessible, and it should be practical in nature. So the EDP program program tries to make the project more practical, the ideology more practical, so that you will be able to run the program without any hindrances. Moving forward, of course, the course contents of an EDP, it involves talking about the technical risks. What are the technical factors that are involved in terms of your process, in terms of your materials, in terms of handling the factors? All these things will be a part of your technical matters. The economic risk, as in where is the raw material, the market fluctuations, what is happening with related to the market, is the capital going down, is it in recession, is it in growth scenario? So all those factors will be covered, followed by the social risk, the inherent risk of running a business in the society. You might have a novel idea, or you might have an idea which thinks that it is sellable in nature, but if the society is against your business, if the society does not like the nature of your business, then you are definitely at risk. So that's where we bring in the concept of social risk and the environmental threat that comes into picture, which is automatically why? Because the kind of nature and society where you are involving yourself, the work environment and other factors that matters a lot in terms of running the business. So you need to have a smooth transition altogether in terms of understanding the technical, economic, social and the environmental factors, so that when you set in all these things in place, you are able to run the business smoothly and you are not challenged by any of the factors that is coming in front of you. Moving forward, we are also going to talk about the entrepreneurship development need. Why do you need this program today? What is the need for this factor altogether? Because everybody requires a proper training and guidance to get success. Whether you talk about Mahabharata, or you talk about Bhagavad Gita, or you talk about any of the scriptures, there has always been a concept of Guru and Sishya, a guru and student all together, and that's where any of the objective has been successful. So that is why I would like to say the concept of training and guidance will always help people to move forward. Unless and until you have a trainer, you have a teacher who guides you, who puts you on the right track, who tells you how to take the business forward, what are the challenges, how you need to lead from the front, what are the problems that you can face while running the business. All these things should be provided as a guided platform to the young and the dynamic entrepreneurs altogether. If that is not being put forward, if that is not being told, then automatically you might get demotivated by the challenges that are coming on the way. And that is the reason probably most of the entrepreneurs break down very fast and their business comes to a closure. So the ideology of an EDP is that the need itself is that solve the problem of stagnation and start moving forward in terms of growth of business and industry. You should not get boggled down by any of the small challenges or any of the small factors that leads to a barricade towards your business. The ideology here is that you need to continue as an entrepreneur. Might be whatever challenges that come on your way, you need to have an equipment, you need to have a tool by which you can overcome the challenge and move forward. So the thrust of entrepreneurship development program is to motivate people, is to make the entrepreneurs accept the challenges and the risk that is involved in running a business, make them even more enterprising and dynamic so that they are able to become the future business leaders of India. Moving forward, with this, we come to the end of the first session on Unit 2, and this session is all about making you understand the meaning and need for entrepreneurship. I hope and believe that all the information provided in this session is of a high help and resourcefulness to you. In the upcoming sessions, we will be talking about the various factors, the various training institutes of EDP. Until then, stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay enlightened forever. Thank you once again for joining me on this wonderful session.